Hey, did you see that last photograph of my wife and me? We're loaded for bear and headed for Vegas. Now, the real question is, what did we look like after being in Vegas for a while? And what did we look like when we were leaving Vegas? Well, you'll have to see that picture at the end of the travelogue. And in this travelogue, we're going to look at Christmas time in Vegas. How do you get across those streets with all of the mobs of people? And then I think we'll also take a look at the old part of Vegas that was popular before the Strip was built. And it's an area of Vegas called Fremont Street. So let's go take a look at see how we made out in Vegas. Yes, sir. Welcome to Vegas. Many people stay at hotels right on the Las Vegas Strip. In our case, traveling by motorhome, we found a campground hotel combination off the Strip itself. It was called Sam's Town after one of the early hotel owners, Sam Boyd. Here he is with Floyd Patterson, the guy on the left. Floyd Patterson, you might remember, was two-time heavyweight boxing champion, 1956 to 62. And at age 21, he was the youngest world champion of the time. And he had also won a gold medal for the United States. So the rich and famous hung around Las Vegas. We liked it there because the hotel ran frequent and free bus shuttles to both the Strip and to Fremont Street, which is the older part of the casino district before the newer and bigger and current location was developed along the Strip. The bus dropped us off and picked us up at Herrera's, which is right in the middle of the Strip. Back in Sam's Town, they had lots of hotel rooms and an RV park right next to the hotel. The hotel had several animated animal statues that growled, squawked, and moved. When we were there one Christmas, the animals were outfitted in Christmas decorations. The bear looks ready for Christmas, but in general, Las Vegas does not decorate or put on many Christmas festivity activities. Drive through the suburbs and you would hardly know it was even Christmas time. We were told that Vegas has a party and festival every day of the year, so Christmas is viewed as just another not so out of the ordinary celebration. The mountain lion grumbled and growled, but at Christmas time he too was ready for Christmas. These are a couple of other hotels that did some Christmas decorating, but in general, it was not really an all-out Christmas theme throughout the city, not at all. The only other Christmas theme we ran across was out beyond the Strip at a place called a cactus garden. Here are some of the cactus that we saw as we walked through the garden area. It was really quite picturesque and very well decorated. Some places will celebrate special events. For example, we were in Vegas during the Chinese New Year. The Chinese New Year ends with the celebration of the Lantern Festival. Traditionally called the Spring Festival, it marks the end of winter and the beginning of spring. As a total community, however, Vegas does not take on the many celebrations that could potentially occur throughout the year. Here is an aerial view of part of the Main Street or Strip from the top of the Vegas's Eiffel Tower. Notice how wide the streets are. But look in the distance. You can see one of the elevated walkways that enable crowds to cross the wide streets. Vegas is a crowded place with masses of people on the move, sightseeing, eating out, going to another casino, and hurrying to buy entertainment tickets. I took this photo from one of the elevated crossing pedestrian bridges. Street level crosswalks have been replaced with these overhead walkways, particularly in the busier sections of the strip. Here is another look at one of these artistically designed overhead walkways. Escalators move crowds faster up and down these elevated pedestrian walkways. Overhead walkways and escalators are innovations that really move the big crowds. First thing I noticed was this giant roller coaster threading amongst the skyscrapers. The Big Apple roller coaster runs from New York Casino. It's the world's highest and offers the world's first 180-degree twist. It has a 44-meter drop that will put your heart into your mouth, believe me, as it goes over its loops, corkscrews, and climbs hills. 14 million riders have been thrilled with its 2-minute 45-second ride that reaches a top speed of over 100 kilometers per hour. The roller coaster, you can see it in the background there, but take a look at the replica of the Statue of Liberty, as the statue looks just as it looks in New York Harbor. Okay, now look at the Statue of Liberty. The lady seems to be dressed up for a special event, as she is wearing her Vegas Knights hockey jersey. It only happens in Vegas. The 7-station Vegas monorail claims to eliminate 25 million car miles annually. You know, that's equivalent to 53 round trips between the Earth and the Moon, if you can believe it. It records a 13,500 daily ridership over its 6.3 kilometer length of track. Its Canadian-built Bombardier engines reach a maximum speed of 80 kilometers per hour in just one place, but you still don't have to wait very long for a pickup. It's a great elevated way to get somewhere fast and see downtown Vegas close up. The high roller Ferris wheel was an early attempt to diversify from some decline in gambling and live entertainment crowds. It's a fairly recent addition to the whole scene, and it opened in 2014. Currently, it's the world's largest Ferris wheel at 168 meters high and 158-meter diameter. It is a popular ride. It reached 1 million passengers in its first 6 months of operation. These pods on the Ferris wheel are quite large, and they can carry about 30 to 40 people. And how long does it take the wheel to make one complete revolution, you ask? It takes 1/2 hour, 30 minutes. This is my wife and daughter as I took the photograph. It was just a great ride, and we certainly enjoyed the view. I do the strip itself with you in another travelogue. But right now, let's move off the strip to Vegas's second entertainment area, Fremont Street. It used to be the main and only entertainment casino area. Some still prefer the old Fremont Street area because it's a little less hectic. Crowds are smaller and it all seems a little easier to manage compared to the bigger crowds and hotter entertainment found today on the Strip. On Fremont Street, some of the old casinos of the heyday times of the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s still stand and remain open. Today, an electronic overhead canopy runs the entire length of Fremont Street. The canopy actually gives you a feeling of coziness as you walk on the street below. They put a light show on the canopy and can adjust the brightness and resolution of it. Advertisements and notices are projected onto the canopy as well. You can sign up for a zipline ride under the canopy that runs for about 5 blocks, and it's on a one-way gravity-based ride that takes from a minute to a half a minute and travels up to 35 miles per hour. You can adjust your speed somewhat by arm movements and leaning one way or the other. It opened in 2014 with over 2 million riders in its first year. On the ride, you can choose to sit, or you can fly like Superman. That is belly down, superhero style. One more thing before we leave Fremont Street. If you want to sell or perform or demonstrate anything, you must limit yourself to painted circles that they have put on the sidewalk. This avoids people coming up to you anywhere on the street and offering you something. Hey, remember that photograph at the beginning of this travelogue? When we came to Vegas, we came in a winner. And how are we going out? Well, you know how. Yes, sirree, you got that right. We are going out a winner, leaving town on top. Anybody who comes to Vegas has a good time, you are a winner. Okay, looks like we survived Vegas. You can't see Las Vegas in one day or in one trip. There's always something else and something different and more to see. I've made a couple of other travelogues on Vegas, one on the Strip itself, and another one that shows some interesting things in the greater area of Las Vegas. And so hit the subscribe button, the up and down thumbs, and we'll see you in Vegas again. Adios.